Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien. I'm back. Oh, childish. I wanted to talk about how everything is a reflection of life and how we absorb everything. How we absorb, but how we pretty much reflect everything. And I think it's a cycle because I was talking to it with Rob and he was saying everything we see is a reflection. And I agree with that. But I know we absorb shit too, and I didn't understand how I could really explain it. And I had to come up with like a process or steps on how I think it works. And pretty much, I think it works by we project our mental ideas and whatever, and certain like say if we're with a group of people, our projection are pretty much in line. If we're in a game with people, our projection is aligned on what we're seeing. And then plus we're seeing sports and we're seeing parties as an actual game and shit like that, but it's really an illusion of something else. And I talked about in my other video, like when we gather and shit like that, we could be white blood cells gathering to stop a virus, and like we're coming up with ideas about shit to move better in our mind and help us progress in life with your friends. Like say you build with your friends a lot, and these are pretty much every time you build with your friends, you're really getting rid of old viruses and other shit that you couldn't get rid of, like your old poverty ways and shit like that. And to go on to my steps, it's pretty much like we project, um, we interpret, and like I said, we could all be at one different place or one different projection, and we all get a different perspective from it. And that's all our different interpretations from it. Like we all live on this one realm, and this realm have one absolute fact and one absolute law. And even though it has that, we all see it outside of it. And my one, what I believe the one absolute fact is, this is Babylon, or this is a place that we have to grow from and learn from. It's not a place of just happiness and dwelling and just somewhere we have to stay type shit. And that's my perspective. I'm not gonna say that's the one initial law, but I'm just saying there is an initial law, and that's God's law or the universal law, whatever you want to call it. And after we get those interpretation of those perspectives on life, we pretty much build morals and we build our standards off of that, and we absorb those things and become those things off of the reflection of that experience or whatever. And I think that's how it pretty much goes. And until you get a good perspective or a good interpretation, you'll keep living in that cycle and you'll keep going through those things until you learn from it. And the reason I say that is like me, I learned that this is Babylon and it's a war-minded place, and they always looking to capitalize on people, and people are enslaved mentally and shit like that, because I know it has to be a big change. It has to be a big thing to make us free. And what I'm saying, what am I trying to say? That's my interpretation. That's my projection. And I believe I have a right projection, just because if I don't think like that, that means we'll keep going into wars. We'll keep thinking it's okay to capitalize on the world and on the God's children and shit like that. So that alone just, shows you, if you keep thinking everything's okay and we just have to vote, or we just have to let the government do their ways and shit like that, we're going to keep going to war. America's going to keep impoverishing other lands and shit like that. The UN and the Rothschilds and all these other people are going to keep oppressing us, because we can't mentally see that it's wrong. And until we mentally see it's wrong, then it won't ever have to really be changed in a sense. And we all waking up to America and Babylon and the world negative, the viruses of the world, and we all trying to actively change it as we wake up and communicate with each other and shit like that. And um I wanted to also talk about, I guess, did I fully explain that? Because I wanted to give better examples. Like I talked about how war keep going, or just how, say you're addicted. Say you're addicted to something that you really shouldn't be addicted to, like alcohol, weed, anything, right? Like you can still drink these things, but the fact that it has a clutch on you and that you can't like stop ever doing it, period, is the problem. And it's like until you change your perspective on it, you won't really change. And or people that work slow, or people that's bougie and shit, when you tell them that they're that type of way, they won't listen to you, because they won't change their perspective on themselves type shit. And it all goes to, we see the same projection. Like I see you acting like a bitch, you know you acting like a bitch, but you won't look at the other perspective of yourself that you can easily see type shit, versus whatever. And my next little topic, I wanted to talk about the evolution of just people and our spirit and how we reincarnate, and the illusions that we reincarnate into. Like right now, I said we see us going into games and we go to parties and we meet with our friends and we see these different energies aligning for certain reasons. We see these energies aligning for a game, but it could be for greater reasons. Just like Jim Carrey talk about, oh, we're at this award show, but like what is this really? What am I really here? Am I really at this award show? What are we really doing? Like, this is really just an illusion of energy meeting. Like how I said, we all aligned to these things. Like we all making. It's coming to it. We all making, like I said, interpretations or perspectives on the alignments that we're having with this world. Like if you see a UFO or if you see a meteor, you're going to give it the definition. You're going to give it a perspective. You're going to give it an interpretation, and then that interpretation is going to affect your mind. Now, like in the same sense of how we label cats, dogs, humans, and everything else. What if you just labeled everything God or everything the universe? You wouldn't really see everything outside of yourself. But when you give things labels, you give things separation. And that's our interpretation. But when we give a better perspective on, say, everything is everything and everybody is everyone and type shit like that, or certain different, moral aspects like that, you kind of understand life a little bit better. But shit still get complex. But I'm just saying how you could get these different perspectives on life. And how we'll actually see shit differently. But what I want to actually say is, the dude name is like, I don't know, it's not his name, but his little logo or his fucking saying is Flight Bus, bitch. His name like D-Lo something. He in my playlist though, and he was just referencing to how we came from animalistic ways, and we came from animals period, and we came from insects, and we reincarnated into this human way that we interpret now, or this reflection that we interpret now as a human life. And pretty much it makes so much sense, because think about people that you consider pigs, and men consider dogs, and we consider women cats and pussy cats and all these different things. And some people look like lions, some people look like dogs, some people look like all these different things. Why do we consider these people that? Why do these people have reflections of these things? Is because you're a reflection of your soul, of what you have been in the past. And even in your morals and your instincts, it shows. Like when you have to survive, what do you do with your instincts? Do you use a pig way? Do you go to do you work like an elephant? Do you work like a camel? Do you work like a dolphin? Like, and they all have different ways of going about how they go about things. Like an elephant can remember up to 100 different water holes. I might be exaggerating, and up to like so many miles. So if one water hole dry up, he know how far he need to go. So he's good at navigating. So if you was a past elephant, you might be good at navigation. You might be good at traveling or some shit like that. Or say if you real big on boundaries or war or something, you might be in a dog, or you might be in like an ant or some other type of insects that have a lot of wars and shit like that. And it goes to like probably a lot of people in our government was like insects and shit like that, things that annoy us and like be in our ear and shit like that won't leave us alone. Like they just pests and shit like that. They're almost like the viruses of the bug systems, like Lotus and shit like that. They'll fuck up forms, and they're not really balanced and shit like that sometimes. But there's other instances like bees and shit that are balanced. So I mean, I'm not gonna say all insects, but I say that to say this, like, what if we look at trees and what if we look at mountains wrong? Like, we all believe we need to be grounded, we need to have roots in our mentality and our morals. So what are we becoming spiritually? Are we becoming these things that we see as trees that have this foundation, that has this life that's really pretty much everlasting, that can pretty much change the soil underneath itself if the soil go bad? A lot of trees can refertilize the soil on its own, so it's pretty much, it's good, like, as long as it's pretty much no other outside things fucking with it, like that tree is good. And I mean, just how we perceive trees, just how we perceive mountains, just how we perceive hurricanes and tsunamis. What if we becoming these things? Because I mean, a lot of people, they say like monks. The Flight Bus dude get into it good. He good on astrology and shit like that. He talk about how monks, they're good at being still and good at being just in the mind. They meditate and just have complete silence, so they become boulders and shit like that. And it makes so much sense because you practice that so long, in the next life you become that spiritual element. Because I mean, elements are pretty much a part of everything. They don't really, like, if you look at like the Avatar and shit like that, when you have control of all the elements, you pretty much, I mean, when you have a control of all of one element, you pretty much are that element. So why would you be a human thing instead of that whole spiritual aspect of air, or the whole spiritual aspect of earth, the whole spiritual aspect of water? Like, think of the Avatar. Like, we seen them as people, but why wouldn't they actually, instead of seeing them as people, actually see them as just earthquake, or just shit? The actual Avatar had control over everything, so he would have been the ultimate god of this reality, because once he mastered everything, he was pretty much in control of everything. But it wouldn't be in human form, it would be in the form of everything, like as a spirit. And some people might become stars, some people might become suns, some women might become moons or shit. I'm just being funny, but some people might become moons, some people might become the universe, they might become the cosmos, they might become shit greater than that. Whatever your interpretation on life, whatever you pretty much whatever you really align with, that's what you're going to become. And some people are greater than others. So like certain ants and certain insects that on a low vibration morphed into low vibrating people, and then the people of like lions and the people of like Judah, like the Lion of Judah and shit, like they incarnate to other people. And pretty much whatever path we on, that like we all incarnate to our own alignments. Like people that are high vibrating is going to vibrate into some high being, and some beings are higher than others. So like I said, I don't never believe in equality, because how would you ever have an example to get better in life? That's why we come up with the thing like the phrase of God. Like you might want to become equal to God, but best believe that you're not. Like if you were, this state of existence wouldn't be like it is now. But pretty much, like I said, I don't really know anything outside. We can become atoms, or what atom might be the universe and shit like that. So, I mean, as far as your mind can expand, that is, like I said, I'm always trying to push the limits of space. So who knows what my next spiritual being will be? And I mean, I don't know. I really don't. But in time will tell. And I think I said everything I wanted to say. New podcast out, Absolutely Unsure. It's in the playlist. Yeah. If y'all have any topics, put them in the comments that we all want to talk about. Any things that y'all feel like y'all want to question, and I can go in deeper. Because, like, man, honestly, my mind be rambling. And I be thinking about a bunch of different things. And I be trying to stay on topic. And I might not expand on something as much as I can. But if you want me to go deeper on certain things, trust me, I'll make a video on it. You can also start conversations with me on Twitter at Emerald Thoughts. I also got Patreon at Emerald Thoughts. I don't got too much stuff on there. If you want to donate, thank you. I'm not asking for anything, but anything helps. If you do got it, hey, I appreciate it. I don't block no blessings. But yeah, that's it, man. I have more videos to come. Appreciate the love. Oh, got 100 subscribers. Thank you, motherfucking people. Thank you, guys. It was a point where I've been making videos almost a year. I never would have thought I would be at 100. I never really even, of course I thought I'd be at like 100, thousands and millions, but you don't really actually see it. You just, hope for it type shit. But I'm actually here now, so it's actually a nice feeling. And it's just to see my growth and to understand that I got 100 in less than a year. If I just keep going hard, who knows where I can get to. So appreciate the love, appreciate the people that's listening, appreciate the people that's just, not lost in this world, man. I mean, if you are lost and still fighting yourself, I appreciate you too, because like I said, I was having a conversation with my friend before. Like, it's people that don't even know there has to be a fight. So trust me, I appreciate you people too. And shit, we all gonna be aligned, and whatever it is gonna be. But I'm out because I'm rambling. Deuces.